Hey everybody, Brian Lundquist here. This episode we get to talk to Daniel Carr, Cal Bear, American backstroker, double Pan Am champ, Pac-12 champ. Daniel's on the rise at the right time. He's been a highly touted recruit out of high school, was a dual sport athlete until his sophomore year when he finally chose swimming over baseball. And he's entered a Cal program where he's gotten to learn from some of the best and be around that and be coached by the best. So in this episode, we get to talk about what that's like, a little inside scoop on the college team at Cal, what it's like to have a training program written by the great Dave Durden and what Dave's really great at. Yes, we do get into a little bit of Dave slip up on the pool deck, getting fired up watching Daniel go 44 and a re-swim and make NCAA finals. We also get to talk a little bit about Daniel's observations, seeing some of his pro teammates participate in ISL. We talk about the updated rosters that were just announced for the upcoming ISL season, as well as what Daniel might like to see the ISL do to improve and continue to grow the league in the future. So we're very excited to get to see Daniel progress in the next year. Does he think that Tom Shields is the best underwater kicker in the world to 15 meters from a push? I'm not going to answer that. You're going to have to listen to find out. But we hope that you enjoy the conversation as much as we did. And without further ado, please enjoy this conversation with the great Daniel Carr.
He's the total package. He's not only just a great athlete, but he's an extraordinary person. Would be an absolute addition to every team, to every locker room. You just have a really solid guy there, really amazing family, very supportive, and wonderful people. So I think it's going to be a fun, refreshing take. You've talked to a lot of old guys like me, Gary, George, and then, no offense, but you are a bunch of old guys yourself. So now we got some young blood in here, and I can't wait to hear what he says.
All right, nice job. Good set. Let's do some social kick.
Welcome back to another episode of the Social Kick Podcast. We got the whole group. We're not deterred by a smoky California, and we're getting together on video, and that's all right. We got Dr. John Mullen. We got Luke Paddington. We got Daniel Carr.
He's the total package.
There we go.
Oh!
What's up?
Who was that? Who was that, Brian?
Sounded like Mr. Adrian talking about what he thinks about Daniel Carr. Daniel, what do you think about Nathan calling you the total package?
Well, I have looked up to Nathan ever since I can remember. So even even freshman year, getting to practice and seeing him next to me, I'm like, wow. So him saying that just literally, it means everything to me. So I'm super excited to be on the show, and I'm even more excited that he even said something like that.
More excited than our show?
Well, I said that wrong, actually.
No, you said it right. It's okay. You can call us out.
Hey, man, come on.
And that'll do it for today.
Yeah.
No, but honestly, we said after the show, Nathan, who do you recommend would be good for this show? Who you like to see? Who you think would be a good show? And I'm expecting one of Nathan's, regular people he hangs out with at the highest level. And he mentioned your name. And the blank look on the three of us, we didn't know your name. So the first thing we did is that we Googled you and we saw the 28-year-old hockey player, the ice hockey player, Daniel Carr. We're like, oh, Daniel, do you think a year from now when I Google Daniel Carr, I will get a different result?
That's the plan. I really hope so.
Honestly, that's how fast swimming takes off for an athlete. You can go to trials, you can just nail trials, make a relay team, or make individual events, and because you're for the US, you're a medalist. It can be that fast a trajectory if you put it out there in the universe. And a year from now, we could be Googling Daniel Carr, and you don't know what the result could be. And in swimming, it's a very fast rise if you put the work in. And Nathan seems to think you're on the right path. How's it going in this year?
Well, this year so far, it's been pretty hectic, to be honest. Dave has been, I mean, the best coach we could ask for. He's been like, I don't even know all the work. He does so many behind the scenes stuff that we don't know about. But we started out swimming at a little neighborhood pool in March, right when everything started to happen. And we stayed there for a couple months, and then we transferred to a local high school about 20 minutes away. We did that for a couple months. And then we finally got in our pool right at the start of school. So training has been, not, I don't want to necessarily say an obstacle, but it's definitely been something different, which is, I guess, fun in a way, but also it brings other sorts of challenges that I never even knew were going to happen in my collegiate career. So it's been, this year has been especially awesome in that way.
What about when NCAAs got canceled? What was that feeling? You were absolutely killing it. Your Pac-12s was great, and it just seemed like you were about ready to light it up at NCAAs.
Yeah, I mean, we got that news, and I mean, my heart just went out to the seniors that didn't get a shot. Like Zenqua, he was lined up at 2 fly. I mean, Pavel Sendik, he was right there in the 50. I mean, we just had so many tough guys that would have been a finalist, even maybe possibly winning an event, and they didn't get that shot. So my heart just went out to them first. Obviously, down the road, it's thought about the whole team as a whole, but I just felt really bad for those guys.
What about you? What was your plan for the 100 and the 200?
Yeah, so Pac-12s went a lot better than I thought it would have. We didn't. I think we did a 3-day drop taper. Didn't shave for the guys that already qualified for NCs, and we were just killing it. And like I had no idea that I could pop a 137 at the end of a 4-day meet, tired, and then about 30 minutes later go a 41.600 swing. So that was really cool. I was super excited after that meet, and like I just knew I had so much more in the tank for NCs, which is unfortunate. But
yeah, I mean, those are some huge swims, especially on a double there. What are some of the biggest changes since you've made since we all got to watch your fun, the new starting blocks for Backstroke, and that's your probably most well-known video. We don't have to get all into that, but obviously we watch those videos, and then a year from now you're making these changes. What were some things that you were focusing on over that time period?
I mean, honestly, the way that Dave structures his season, you're just meant to start maybe here, and then all the way throughout the season, you're just going up and up and up. And I think like one of the biggest thing that I'm most proud about in my swimming career, is that I can stay on that steady slope every single season. So I don't necessarily contribute my success at Pac-12s to one single thing. It's just the whole team just going with each other on this upward slope that I kind of just fed off of.
So quick segue here to that famous race last year, your re-swim. Dave mentioned, and your whole team coming together to success. So I just want to play something very quickly for us, because let's just look at a critical part of that race, which I thought was just brilliant. So give it about 60 seconds, okay?
Carr up and away on his final 25. And he's in. And he's in at 44.86.
Now,
You had to go there, didn't you? You had to go there, Luke. You just couldn't hold it back.
if you don't know Dave Durden, and I've never met the man, but two of you know him very well, that's incredible to have that coach be like that on your sideline. And the video continues, and you see your whole team pick him up and just surround you, Daniel, and just like lift you literally out of the water. It felt like that's unbelievable to have a coach who didn't drop his stopwatch, who got up and kept shouting and really touched that. What an environment! What a coach! What a team, man!
Oh my gosh, I can't say enough to what that feeling was like. I'm excited to go into more of that. Yeah.
Do it, man.
Dude, I feel like one of the cool things about some for coaches that are that passionate. I mean, shoot, we've talked to a few of them. I had the pleasure of getting coached by a few of them myself, and I think like that's what elite college swimming and world swimming is about. And I think Durden has separated himself from a lot of folks, and even within that realm, and his level of passion about the engagement with the athletes, the success of the program, the success of you guys as people. And I know that, from my experience, you can feel that. You feel like he's invested in you as a coach, and he's invested in you as a person in your development. So I think that's where that comes from, is that and it's so motivating too, because I can remember going to my first NCAAs, and it was more so at NCAAs because it felt like that was the grand stage. We had conference before that, but when you're in the team area and like the team room, having a talk before you go to your first final session at NCAAs, and the coaches are buttoned up or wearing a little bit more, they're in uniform in a different way. It's like, okay, this is their game time too, right? And I remember actually when I swam for Brett Hawk, he would shave down for NCAAs.
No way.
He was just coaching. I love it. And he was just getting fired up, It's like so obviously that's. I mean, Luke, I think that's what you see in that passion and emotion out of Dave. Is he's like, yes, he knows the work that went into it. He put in the work too, and he sees that come out of Daniel. And man, it's so.
But I know that look, because I had a coach that was like that. The best race of my life, I remember two things, actually three. I remember no pain. Your best race is you don't feel pain. You touch it, like all the things you're on a high. I remember the one word I kept telling myself, you gotta want it, you gotta want it, you gotta want it. But I do remember looking and just seeing like complete exhilaration in my coach's face. That's 25 years ago, and I still remember that look. And that's the same look Dave have, where my coach was just lost it. And if you don't have a coach who has that passion for your swims and you do well, man, I don't know, get a different coach. Sorry.
So true. But I got to know about your breathing. If you're seeing the full coach's reaction during a race.
He's like 5'4".
How high up are you breathing on that freestyle?
The 90s, we kind of look.
Or was this headed up freestyle happening?
Yeah, we don't swim high elbow like that anymore, Luke.
We all pop up, man.
Get the paddle out. Get out the long one.
I just got to share with you guys that I'm drinking out of a bucket of beer right now. I got everywhere.
Bucket?
My beer fridge is busted. So what are you gonna do? But I got this new one in. It's called it's Athletic Brewing. It's a non-alcoholic beer. I just found out about it. I got the shipment in today. It's an IPA, and it tastes just like an IPA, but no alcohol, or 0.5% maybe. It's pretty rad.
Huh. And you got a whole bucket of it.
Well, I told you, because I'm in the garage and my fridge is way down there, and my beer fridge in the garage isn't working right now, so we got a bucket on.
So let me clarify. The bucket is for cooling the beer. You're not drinking beer out of the bucket.
No, it's like in a restaurant.
I thought you were drinking beer out of this bucket.
It's like a champagne bucket, okay? But not.
Here's my beer bucket.
I literally thought you just poured beer in a bucket and you're just drinking it.
That's what I thought too. And I was like, man, Brian's hitting a ceiling here. He's going for it tonight for Daniel.
You guys know for wings or something.
I just read what I'm drinking and I'm a little bit worried. So I just pull out the fridge, never mind the beer, milkshake. But then I look down and it's a triple IPA, 10%. So just one of these right now and I'll be good. We're fine. Thank you.
Easy killer.
All right, since we're going through it, I got a Campground. It's a Pizza Port IPA, one of, as we learned, Gary Hall Jr.'s favorite breweries in San Diego.
There we go.
Nice. Daniel, you got anything hydrating you tonight?
Well,
I saw a water glass.
I just finished a Pedialyte, but I just got some water here. I'm too nervous to drink before practice tomorrow. I apologize.
You're good, man.
What's on the cards for practice tomorrow?
Well, we'll see if we even have practice. The air quality is getting worse, but usually Friday morning we have a big kick set, and then Friday afternoon is more of a power session. So I love Fridays. Fridays are like my favorite day. Yeah,
big kick set. Give me an example.
Yeah.
give you an example.
For you, the backstrokers.
Okay, so it's kind of cool. So we start out in an up-low group. So you guys know what that is. We practice for about an hour separately, and then we come together at the end of practice and we just do this crazy kick set all together, no matter if you're a 50 freestyler or miler. So I guess a classic. Dave's been really into some long kicking, which for us is like 200 and above, can like continuously. So I guess like an example would be like 10 200s, descend in groups of 2, start at just below 80% for the first 2, and then just get faster and faster and faster on like maybe like 330 for a long course.
Yep.
And backstrokers, I usually try to do 20 kicks off each wall because I think I saw you guys. My underwaters aren't where I would need them to be. So
We're not coaches, but we observed.
Yeah. And Murph and Andy Song, Bryce Mefford, they're all doing something similar. It's just working those underwaters and then right into flutter kick. And then we just get so pumped up. When Dave says like the workout, he says the first 2, 80. And we're like, okay. Second 2, faster. We're like, we get a little louder. Second, and by the end, we're just screaming at each other, hitting the water, like getting so psyched for this set. It's such a fun time. Yeah.
That's kind of awesome.
10 200s. That's cottage swimming, man. Can you imagine doing that now, guys? I haven't done something like that since.
I swam about 400 yards today in the smoke, and then I got out and I was like, you know what? I think I'm good here today. I think I've swallowed enough ash.
Yeah. Well, especially not kicking. I think that's one of the things that you just kind of let go. That we don't do a ton in master swimming, but I can remember at certain times being really fit as a kicker, having that really drive great swimming results. Do you feel like what did you do? Kicking wise, training as a high schooler, has that developed a lot more as you came to Cal?
Yeah, so I never kicked in high school. I never even picked up a board in high school. So we always just pulled. So that was a big shock. Like I was by far the worst kicker when I came here on the team. And it's gotten better, but my legs were cooked for the first couple of years. Yeah.
To get to the point that you can do 20 kicks off a wall and a kick set is pretty insane improvement though.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, I want to circle back to one thing about that time trial or re-swim that you had.
Sure, let's do it.
Why were you in lane 1?
Yeah, so they wanted to simulate everything that happened from that race, from the prelim session, and I was in lane 1 at prelims.
Got it.
So they just gave me 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to go back to Daniel, where we take a lot of guess, which is your last race, which a lot of people, after they've retired, you're far from that. But we've had a big gap now between, last races and maybe even done some simulated races and training. I'm sure you guys have had some days where you've suited up, but, if you go back to maybe it was SEC's conference, maybe it was Pac-12's. What was your last race?
It was the 4x100 freestyle relay.
Yep. Okay. What do you remember about that race?
Well, we started, so the relay order, first of all, I didn't know I was on the relay until about 30 minutes before, right after the 2 back. So I'm not necessarily known for being a sprint freestyler, even a freestyler. So when Dave told me, I was like, wow, all right, let's freaking go. Like, I'm stoked.
Nice.
So our relay order was Michael Jensen, Pavel Sendik, me, and then Ryan Hoffer. So I remember Jenny got off to a pretty good start. Pavel really caught us up. So ASU was our main competition. And we were about a half a body length behind when I dove in. And I was against Cody Bybee, I think. And I just remember I'd never really practiced a relay start with Pavel. And I literally remember he touched and I jumped, and the first thing I thought was, oh
Shit.
shit,
Yeah.
like, oh shit, I just disqualified our team, because it was like not even. I thought it wasn't even close. And then after the race, I talked to Dave and like what happened, because after the race, the officials stopped and like under official review for like 10 minutes. And I was just freaking out. And Dave told me my relay or split time for reaction time was 0.01. So I got really lucky with that. And then we ended up, I mean, having Ryan Hoffer finish your relay, you just know that you just know that something's good is gonna happen.
Yeah,
So,
but it must have taken your mind off at least the first 25 when you dove in. Yeah, you're just like, oh shit. So did that perk you up and get you going? And like, well, I might as well make the most of it. Let's go.
yeah, I'm just like, well, shit, might as well just send it.
Yeah.
So that's what I did. I don't really know how to swim 100 free either. I breathed every 2. I mean, it was a pretty sloppy race, to be honest. But turned out pretty well.
41.
Yeah, definitely a pretty solid time. But sounds like the backstroker might need a couple of reps on the relay exchange, huh?
Oh yeah, lots.
I mean, when was the last time you did a relay exchange, or were you doing many relays, free relays, and just dual meets throughout the season, or?
So usually I'm just on the medley relays during the season.
Yeah,
And then
backstroke,
about
right?
January, February, Dave is like, you're going to be on this 800 freestyle relay. So we started doing relay. I did relay starts off of Bryce Mefford, and obviously the speed's a lot different for a 200 and 100. So it's just, I'm just not used to someone coming in at a 41.5. So that I've had done relay starts, but not to that speed. Yeah.
When you're a backstroker,
Mm-hmm.
wicked freestyler, and you swim IM, you enjoy IM? It's just like a really fun thing. Is it 2 IM you just enjoy because you just feel like you keep going? You switch strokes every 50. It feels great. What's your IM feelings?
Yeah, so I've always loved the IM, because I think it's the like epitome of how like an all around good swimmer. And just kind of, I used to be a really, really good breaststroker in high school, and it's just it's really, really cool to see how my body and strokes change through this 200 IM. So I love that race just because it's like knowing my body and what is really working for me at that moment. Yeah.
Guys, remember last week we asked the question of all the IMs, what if there was a 150 IM and you dropped fly? So fly hadn't been invented.
There was a 150 IM in the 1950s.
In the 1950s, fly hadn't been invented. It wasn't around yet. Who is the greatest IM of all time? Who, if there's no butterfly and it was a 150 IM? How was your butterfly, Daniel? You know, like we mentioned George Ravel, his went up, his fly wasn't that fast. How's your butterfly and your IM?
Absolute garbage. Terrible.
We found it. The fastest 150er IMer, no butterfly.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I can get away with a 50 fly, but that is it. That is like my max. Yeah.
It's interesting that you mentioned, like you said, you were a good breaststroker. Before we hopped on, we were nerding out on some fantasy baseball and talking about how you kind of grew up playing other sports in baseball. I watched some old high school interview of you where they showed your pool, and doesn't look like it's anything fancy, little indoor pool in Colorado. So what was your training, and when did you start getting more serious with swimming, and when did that development and shift start to happen?
Yeah, so my parents have done an awesome job. They didn't really steer me in any direction. They kind of just said, do what you want. Maybe not so much football, but anything but football. I'll support you in any way I can. So I started with baseball. I just absolutely loved it. The team aspect is just unlike anything I had experienced with swimming, and I just kept with that as long as I could. With swimming, I started swimming competitively when I was about 8 on Shine Mountain Aquatics, and then fast forward about 6 years, my coach decided to move to Florida. His name is Joe Novak, and the new coach that came in, we didn't really agree. I gave him a shot one season, and I said, okay, see you later. I'm going to go join this other team. And the head coach of this other team, Pikes Peak Athletics, his name is George Heidinger. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with that name, but he's been really involved with USA Swimming. He was a national junior team director for like 10 years. And ever since I joined that team, it's just been like, why didn't I do this earlier? Wow. So I think like I started treating swimming pretty seriously when I was about 13, 14. But really when I joined that team, Pikes Peak Athletics, and I'm just so thankful for him. I'm thankful for that coach I didn't agree with. I'm thankful for Joe Novak. And it's been an awesome little cultivation of sports throughout my life.
You know, we've heard a number of guests who at that age made critical things happen in their swimming career that just blew them up. Felicia Lee went down to North Baltimore. Katie Hoff, the same thing at that age. Gary told Pierre, I'm no longer going to be a distance guy. I want to sprint. You know, like critical times. That's a critical age. John, Brian, what do you guys think about the 14, 15-year-old transition? I mean, what happens if you get stuck with just a bad place, bad coach at that time? What if Daniel had stuck with somebody he just didn't agree with? Yep. I mean, it's sad, right? It happens a lot.
Well,
oh
yeah. All right, I'll take over. Sorry, Brian, you're breaking up there with the connection a little bit. Let me get going here. So yeah, I mean, 13, 14, certainly a lot of people are developing at that time. So that can be very informative on what's going to be the right direction for them. And obviously that's when things in the U.S. are starting to specialize for a lot of people, because high school, it's hard to do multiple sports. Right. So obviously finding your sport and your fit at that age is pretty crucial. And swimming's an interesting sport where, I mean, how many coaches do you have for swimming your whole career? Sometimes it can be 2 or 3. I know I had pretty much 3 coaches my whole swimming career. And if you just don't hit a home run or don't see eye to eye, or that person doesn't motivate you at that moment in time, it might really draw you back in certain areas. I mean, I grew up in Ohio where, you know, now I'm treating and seeing patients and clients in the Bay Area where there's a million swim teams, and people are like, oh, did you ever switch teams or switch clubs? And I'm like, no. I barely made it to 5:15 practice when the pool was 5 minutes away, let alone an hour away, you know? And luckily I loved my club coach and high school coach. He was motivating. Sure, I look back and it's like, could I have been better if I had someone else or something else? But, you know, I think it was a great environment. And obviously when you're looking at a team, it's not only the coach, it's what's going to work for you and work for the family. Obviously you have parents at that age still driving you, and we'll see people out here driving their kids an hour to practice twice a day, or they'll live in Santa Cruz and train at a team in San Jose. And it's just like, okay, you know, perhaps that is the right thing. Like with Felicia, moving. Yeah. Baker, these people moving from their hometowns to train at these places. It certainly can work, but you got to find the right fit for not only the swimming, but also the person and the family.
One of my teammates, Sean Grisham, you know his name. Mm-hmm. He actually did that exact same thing. He lived in El Paso, Texas for most of his life, and decided that he needed to move to Austin to train and swim with Nitro. And I talked with him about it, and he is super, super glad he made that choice.
We had an athlete who moved countries. So we had Leah Martindale. She's a finalist in 96, and she moved at age 15, 16 to Trinidad. And that's a whole different environment, and lived with a coach, and it was such a change. And you see that happening a lot, but at a teenager, that's a commitment.
Didn't Dylan? I mean, doesn't that happen a lot in the Caribbean?
Yeah.
And a lot of places around high school, going to bowls and some of those high schools down there.
A lot of the Caribbean people go to bowls, and so Dylan went to high school in Florida. Dylan went to I forgot the high school. But
either of those schools. So yeah, I mean, obviously, important times, and a lot of different things work, but different things work for different people. That's for sure.
Daniel, you're the youngest guest on the show, like barely, like a couple years younger than me, so it don't feel like you're so right. You're just there. Nathan did call us out for being old, but we don't want you to like call us out. So call us out.
It's all right. We're wicked old, Luke. I like that drop earlier.
But you know, I want to be schooled. I want to learn. I want to know some of the names and some of the what's going on in swimming. And we're not aware. Quite honestly, we don't follow the conference meets our guys as much as we should. We don't know the up and coming freshmen. We don't know the top high schoolers in the country as we used to. I don't. Okay.
You didn't go to college in the States. Come on, man.
I went to a good school.
We started this because we like watching swimming, so I wouldn't say that's true.
No, but it's a segue because I wanna talk about the big news that announced yesterday, all the ISL teams, and there are a bunch of names there on the ISL teams that we know. All of us know. Who doesn't know if you don't watch swimming? But there are definitely names I don't know. So Daniel, I welcome you to go through and just get your reactions of all of us on these team profiles. And you may have raced some of these, you may have followed these career, and I don't know these names. So I welcome some of this information. So you guys are cool. I can bring up some of these names and we talk about the 10 team roster that got announced yesterday. First of all, what do you think about the ISL, Daniel?
I think ISL is I think it's an awesome concept. And I think if they can keep it going, that it is just going to be fantastic for swimming. Luckily, Trenton Julian, his dad, is one of the coaches for the Cali Condors. And so I've just gotten so much information that he's told me about kind of where he wants, or Mr. Gagorsian, the founder, where he wants it to go. And it's just super interesting. Yeah.
Well, I guess first thing that I'd like to know, and this can be from those conversations or just what you know about the ISL, because we've talked about it, is who is the audience for the ISL? Who do you think is like the target group they're going after?
Yeah, well, I think last year it was basically the swimmers that treat swimming pretty darn seriously, because people just didn't really know about it. But I think what they want to go to is obviously having like kind of what the NFL, NHL, all these professional sports teams are doing, is just like selling jerseys for little kids, like just reaching out to so many people, because the Olympics, like everyone watches swimming. And when the Olympics are happening, I think they really want to go towards that amount of views with ISL.
Did you watch it?
Go on.
No, I was gonna say, did you watch it? Did your teammates watch it? Did you guys really talk about it on deck and stuff?
Oh yeah, we watched every single one. Yeah,
same here. We were definitely following it and excited about it as well. I can't wait to get a Frog Kings helmet or something like that here for the following year.
Oh God.
Well, let's dive into that. One of the questions that Brian always asks guests is that if you could name an ISL team, what would it be? And nobody came close to Frog Kings. I'm telling you, that's something that's surprising. But
that is true.
All right, let's bring it up. So Energy Standard, this is a powerhouse team. I mean, Sarah and Flo and Chad and Femke, and some powerhouses there. But what names there? Rapsis is there. What names there? What do you guys think about this team? This is solid, man. Pinelli,
the favorite.
Absolutely.
Now you got Grievers too.
Yeah,
Grievers on there.
Grievers.
Mary Sophie Harvey. But I mean, there's some names that I don't know, and I'm always doing my research to find out who these people are. You know,
they got so just two Americans. It looks like, is that right? Larson and Grievers. Anyone else? Mary Harvey. I'm not familiar with her.
Canadian, and I swam against her dad. Her dad is my arch rival in the 50 free, Andre Harvey.
No way.
So yeah, Andre Harvey was a beast of a 50 freestyle, and I had to take him down, but I never did. He destroyed me.
But no, I think the favorite team, in my opinion.
Oh yeah.
Did they? I mean, I don't know who they added, but yeah, it's solid. It's a nice mix. Emily's on there, and I mean, yeah, it's solid.
Well, one interesting thing. So they have Susanna. How do you say her last name? I can't pronounce the name. Yeah, so she was on iron last year, and she's historic Hungarian 2 flyer. So that's interesting that she made that shift. Is she training at standard? Don't they all train together? I mean, I guess apparently not. I don't think Grievers is training at standard. I don't know. Daniel, got any inside info on Mr. Grievers?
I mean, from what I know, I don't know much, but he's still doing his thing in Arizona.
Yeah, he's got his family and all that. I can't imagine him doing that.
I don't know. Does he have 2 kids?
Yeah, I think he does. And a Peloton.
Yeah.
I was going to say, Luke, let's deep dive the Instagram on Grievers. I'm sure you got it there. Him and Andy, I'm sure, are
No,
doing well. Shout out to
He
both.
set some records on Peloton, so he's well known in that circle.
Oh yeah,
So,
he did that little challenge, right?
That was so cool.
I have friends saying, "Look, do you know a swimmer called Matt something? Matt?" I'm like, "Grievous? Yeah, he's so good in Peloton." I'm like, "Okay." All right, and the next team is the London Raw. I mean, a really solid team led by PD. We got Elias on there, and Annie and Mia Atherton. But yeah, there are a number of new swimmers on this big time. They've really expanded their roster. Vinny Lance is there. James
Did they
Guy.
have more swimmers than the other team?
I think they do.
That's where the details need to be a little more specific. I know they finally came out with some stuff about salaries, but just like, is there a roster cap? Can you hold as many on your roster as you want? I don't know, but yeah, this is another really good team from what I can tell. I mean, they were great last year too.
Kate Campbell.
Yeah. I mean, they were there last year.
Any young names stand out in these rosters? I don't know. Let us know, Daniel. Like anybody you race against on your junior national days, let us know.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, yeah, definitely. And then we have here, Cali Condos. I mean, again, really. I mean, these were finalists, right? This is one of the 4 finalists we had in Vegas. Yeah. Erica Brown is a nice addition.
Yeah, she'll be. We'll see what she can do in the 50 skins, and that's something to consider. I mean, what do we have? The 100 IM skins this year.
That's right.
I mean, I don't even know who's going to be dominating that. Is it going to? I mean, on the men's side, 100 IM skins. Is it going to be like Vlad and Dressel, like guys like that can just BS their way through a 25 breast, and then who's going to be good at the 100 IM on the women's side?
Both of those
guys.
Was that
Brian?
Breaststroke, by the way.
I know. I'm just joking, considering one had the American record for a little while.
This is the big team because they're missing 2 former guests of ours on this team. Maybe 3 former guests. Amy's not there. Nathan's not there. Kathleen's not there. So that's a big change for them. That's some point scorers, right?
Yep. Luke, I thought you were friends with the LA Current on Instagram. This isn't going to help us out there.
No, it's not. But that's my Trinity team, so we're good.
As I say, you got Dylan still, so you're good.
Yeah, we're good. And we got some Cal swimmers on that. We got Shields and Selska and Murphy and these guys. So,
but they have some interesting first years. I mean, Daniel, how do you think Maxine's going to do with the ISL format?
Yeah, I was just about to say that addition of Maxine because was it go a few teams back? It was, or maybe one team back. This Cali Condors has Tate Jackson.
Yeah.
And Townley Haas, they have a couple Texas guys. I'm surprised that he didn't go with the Cali Condors, but I mean, I'm really excited to see what that guy can do. He's just been on fire recently.
He has, and he's pretty versatile too. I mean, showing off some 100 fly and all that, and obviously multiple relays. Maybe I don't know if he's got enough 50 speed for the skins, but still 50 to 200 kind of range.
Yeah, we raced at the same invite in December. Against Texas, and he was just lights out. It was cool to watch.
Yeah, you and him just been moving along.
And we got Team Iron Man. I mean, basically, Milak and Katinka and Renomi are still there. They get their core. Santos is a nice addition. I'm interested to see what the 39-year-old does.
Interesting, they have Ross Murdoch on their team. I don't think he was there last year.
Who's that?
He's a breaststroker for Britain who, I mean, I think a pretty solid breaststroker, like a 58 guy. But yeah, I mean, so we'll see. I'm surprised he's not on the one Roar.
Yeah, the Roar. Any names here stand out? Marco Ozzy's great, but I don't know a lot of these names, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of them either.
I don't either. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? And then we got here.
I was just going to say, one thing with the ISL, just us learning more about these international up-and-comers that obviously we're biased here, other than Luke, for the U.S. college scene and all that. So one thing that we liked about the ISL, like Mina Atherton, I mean, I think she was on many of our radars, and she's popping world records at these ISL meets. So it's great so we can learn more about these up-and-comers from other countries.
Are you seeing a competition, Danielle? Are you seeing like names you didn't know? Are you pretty much aware of like the top 100 backstrokers that you contend with? Or are there surprises once in a while that show up? You're like, where did this guy come from?
I think I have a gist of who I need to beat in next year. But I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I got you. I like that. And the DC Tridents, Giles and Madison, and but there are a bunch of teams I don't know as well, which is
I have Bill Quist on here, like we talked about.
Pebs is on here too.
Pebs, yeah.
Apple, Margot Gear, shout out Margot.
That team did not.
But we'll see. No Ledecky on this one. I know we'll get into the people that are holding out, but no Ledecky this year.
So that
Bill moved
as well. Yeah, that's Zhang's sister.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
And then move on to Akra Centurions. I mean, these guys are so many Italians here.
Wow.
So how many swimmers now are? So we have 2 new teams. So how many teams total do we have?
10. We got 10 too. So we have Akra Centurions, and then we have. I'm going to come up to the new team soon. New York.
I was going to say, what do we have? 100. How many people are on a team? There's a lot of swimmers now. Jeez.
Yeah, you're probably looking at 25 per. There's a nice mix of Europeans and some Americans on this one.
Oh, the breakers. Justin always liked the breakers because they were, they were figuring it out.
Cameron McAvoy swimming. It's nice to see him.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, we got a lot of Aussies this again.
Jack McLaughlin. Yeah, I mean,
and we got my Canadians.
Kylie Moss. Yeah, it's good.
This is a solid team.
Chadwick's moved from LA Current from the LA Current to here. Brent's there.
Yeah, we'll see how Brent does. Is he gonna do a skins? Does he have a skins in him? You think?
We don't know what he's 100 free world champion 7 years ago. So you don't know where he's at now. But this is gonna be the funny team. Funny meaning I don't know the Japanese swimmers. I don't know many of them. Then we got Leah and we got Dio Sato's on this. That's wicked. Look at that.
Yeah, I got Duluth and Smith and Bruno.
Irene.
I mean, yeah, the main names out of Japan that we know got. Well, I didn't realize Vlad's on this team.
Yeah, Salo's the head coach of this team, right?
That's right.
That he is, which was an interesting. Yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about? Pretty much, I don't know. How much of that roster is Japanese? We'll say 75%.
Got a sweet logo.
And they have a good logo. That is cool.
Well, that's something sorry. My internet's obviously been terrible. That's something that I think really needs to happen for the ISL is we increase the branding. You watch some of these other leagues and you really get behind Daniel wearing a Rockies hat as a kid, and it's like. No, we don't have that yet as part of fandom. So it's kind of hard to be a fan to affiliate around a team. So I think it's good to see some movement and some growth in the teams and have some athletes move around to different teams. But it'd also be good to have some stability and to start to bring in that branding a little bit more. I'd just like to see it. And we haven't seen enough differentiation of the colors and the styles and the cheers and the home pools. Nobody's got a home pool. So it's I don't know. We got to figure out some elements how to build community around it, and I think that's tough. It's I don't know. Where is the LA Current associated with? Where is Cali Condor associated with? Is it just California? Why is there a team in DC? I don't know.
Right, and that was kind of one of the things that I was talking with Jeff Julian about. Is that he wants to see, and Mr. Gregorian wants to see that. Those teams are in a central location and all the swimmers are quitting where they originally came from and practicing there at their home pool. Which is just insane to think about. I don't know if people would do that.
They do. I mean, they do it in soccer and stuff, but yeah, I get you. They won't do it in swimming. It's a big change.
I mean, they might, but it's going to take a little bit. And maybe that's why they're going with obviously the coaching staff they're going with. I mean, I still think it's interesting that, Salo is the head coach of this team with 75% Japanese swimmers. I mean, obviously he coached Kitajima a little bit, and Kitajima's the GM, so that probably played a big role, but I don't know. It seemed like an interesting one.
Yeah.
It's so radical, but it's not that crazy of an idea because we have that example in other sport, right? There's a kicker on every NFL team, and they don't all just go to Cal because they want to be fast at swimming. They it's they don't all go to one team so that they can all be great kickers. It's if swimming were the model where That was the destination. And we didn't have this concept of there's college swimming, or in other countries, it's like there's the Olympics and there's the big world championships. I mean, I think, with respect to the guy who started the ISL, it's like, well, he's thinking about, well, what could swimming be? Could this be what it's like? And, so I guess in that sense, it's not that radical, right?
And he came out recently and said that, hey, for this to grow, swimmers need to act more professional. And I think he had some backup statement to it saying, like, in the last ISL, people were missing a lot of competitions, and they were missing because they're going to a friend's birthday party or whatever. But I mean, if this is going to be serious, they need to be pros and show up. And I think maybe calling out the athletes a little for that. And on the other end, you could say, hey, well, the athletes weren't making much money. You got to make $1,000 out of meet or go to a family life event. But as it grows, we'll see kind of how that changes and if it can be more professional, like you're saying, Brian.
So I'm thinking about that. And however, if you've signed a contract and you've agreed to be employed by somebody, it doesn't matter what you've agreed for the payments. So that's now behind you. That's fine. You've made a commitment to that person to be there for whatever it is. Brian, I want you to come to my house and I'm going to pay you $5 and a slice of pizza to build my back wall. And you're like, okay, that's cool. You don't then say, I'm sorry, I'm not coming because I got to go for, you've made an agreement with me and you signed in contracts. That's a professional side of it. So I can see where he's coming from now. However, being paid a base salary of $1,500, that's better than it was last year for the majority of the swimmers, because you don't have to be a winner to get that salary, but still, it's not that much. So, for these girls. Let's look at the athletes. I mean, I don't know if that's a reason why, but look at the athletes who are not taking part.
So small. Why don't you read some of them, Luke? So we got the deck, Cody Miller, Ryan Held, Kathleen Baker, Nathan, Chase. So I don't know why there's a highlight.
Jack Shebert, Penny. I mean, the 100 free. So the two top 100 freestylers and women are not there. They go Simon and Penny. Anton Chupkov. They have a number of tops. I'm going to say. And now we know that this is pro swimming, so there are no college swimmers. So Reagan Smith's not there, right? And these people.
Daniel Carr's not there.
Jogging fractions, you're not there. Daniel's not there. But Cody's having a child in November, so he's going for family commitments and family first always. But it's interesting that some very big names here and some decent, Olympic qualifiers here. That's interesting, right? I mean, I'm going to miss Santo. I'm going to miss Nathan's skins for sure. We tease him at his 20-point lactate and his 50th skins. I miss Kathleen's 100 breaststroke. She's trying to pop a 107. So let's see what happens. But
I don't know. I think I was more encouraged by, we just got done flipping through all the rosters that were packed full, right? There's a couple new teams. I mean, so I just look at this list and go, okay, well, there's still a lot more people that are participating in it than are not.
We got a lot more Aussies, something like 28 Aussies. We got a lot more Brits. We got a lot more Japanese, and that's fantastic. We're missing the Chinese. We're missing, I don't know. That's pretty much the big powerhouses in swimming, right? We got all the Canadians are in there.
Yeah, I mean, I think overall it's looking good. I mean, with COVID and an Olympic year where, I think it's great participation. Obviously, Olympic year, some people are going to have to put all their eggs in the Olympic basket, especially if you have multi-million-dollar contracts on the line, a lot more than $1,500. But I'm excited about it.
Daniel, what about you? I mean, you're at the top of your career right now. You got so much to go. How do you feel about seeing these people racing? I mean, you got NCs, but also do you wish you were there racing as well? I mean, best of both worlds. Ideally, you could do both. I mean, would you die to be in that event to get up and swim for a team?
Yeah, I mean, it's so cool because it gives an opportunity for swimmers, say like myself, that don't really have or establish their name in swimming to have a career option in swimming after college.
Right.
So like I'm super excited that I even have a shot at being in the ISL at one day. And I think it's also really cool. I was talking to Tom about this the other day, that it gives the fall a little bit of spark.
Yeah.
Because for pro swimmers, it's just grind. Maybe a few pro series went here like every once in a while, but like the ISL gives them a chance to travel somewhere really cool and also race. people that are the best in the world. So I just think it's a really awesome opportunity for them. Yeah.
Do you think it would change anything with training? Like, say you get to that point, does ISL season training change anything? And what might be different if ISL was the pinnacle? Well, how might that change?
Yeah. So last season, it worked out really well with our dual meets, because when we had a dual meet, there was an ISL meet. So everything worked out really well for the pros because we just stay together throughout the whole time. Maybe they'd leave a day earlier. So from a training standpoint, nothing really changed for them. But I think if ISL goes the way that a lot of people want it to go, then I think come December, they're going to be fully resting and shaving.
Do you guys think that 25 yards to 25 meters pools affects backstrokers more than any stroke?
What do you mean?
Just, I don't know, just timing the walls, having the difference in yards to meters in 25, what stroke does it affect most for timing, for just knowing where the walls at, stroke counts? I don't know, kickouts. Do you think his backstroke is the one, maybe?
I don't necessarily think it's backstroke. It's just a different way to approach a race. Just so, I think you guys said it yesterday, it's so underwater heavy in short course versus long course. It's
no, I'm talking short course meters.
Yeah, short course meters.
Still,
yeah. I think it's so much more underwater driven than most. Yeah.
Because whenever I went, because I swam in Canada and we swam meters, short course meters, 25 meters was the pool we went. And whenever I went down to the States to race yards, the wall just came too quick to me. I just wasn't ready for it. I had my breath count. I knew where I was going. I knew my stroke count. And because we didn't practice in the yard pool, or we didn't race in the yard pool, when I had a race in the yard pool, all of a sudden I was just thrown off. But the first wall just like, no, I'm not ready for it. So I don't know what it's like now. I can't imagine backstroke even, because you get kickouts at 15, and I don't know. Is that why
you got an 18-foot pool in your backyard now to practice?
I was going to say 15 meters doesn't change short course meters or yards in the distance.
Yeah, no, but you pop up. And how many strokes do you do in your first 25, Daniel, of yards? 6 strokes?
8 strokes.
8 strokes, right? So it changed by 2 it'll go longer in meters.
It would.
Right.
I was actually talking to Murphy about this. Well,
Can't argue with that.
No, but it affects you before you go for your turn. It's subtle things, dude.
Absolutely. So we're talking about this, and the flags are actually at different distances.
They are, yeah.
With meters and yards. So
right.
he wasn't ready for that, and he missed a lot of his walls for most of the ISL last season because of that.
Yeah, the tee doesn't change, the flags change. The line to come up doesn't change, but the flags is the big change for you. Yep. And so I don't know.
Why do the flags change?
Meters and yards.
I guess. Yeah. So it's just 5 yards or 5 meters from the wall.
Yep.
Well, what? Yeah, exactly. It's 5 meters or 5 yards, but I don't understand why in yards. Maybe this makes more sense, but we go 15 meters underwater in a yards pool. So by that logic, you'd say, well, we should be doing 15 yards underwater. That would totally be weird.
Shortening.
Which also is strange. You talk about adjusting to pools. That's one of the hardest things when you rest, because you get into a taper meet and suddenly, like, the number of kicks you're taking on a start, Daniel, to break out at 15 is less than what you were doing in dual meets earlier or in practice for sure. So you got to kind of adjust to that. And you don't get a lot of practice with those fresh legs. So it's like, or for a sprinter, understanding how fast you're coming into the wall, or if somebody's a relay starting, seeing how fast their relay swimmer is coming in is like, whoa, I got to go. All that stuff just happens at different speeds. So there's a lot of adjustments that you need to make, but the pool one is for sure a big difference.
Yeah, I guess it's the yards pool messing everything up again, us going all the American stuff. It should be 15 yards, and the flag should change. Everything should change and be standardized.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Daniel, what do you think about if all of NCAA swimming was to make a change to meters? Let's say that there wasn't there wasn't an issue with every pool in America having yard pool. Yeah. If there was no switching cost, do you think that would be a good move for NCAAs?
Are you talking long course meters or short course meters?
No, short course meters.
Ooh, I honestly like it the way it is because it's unlike any other meet in the world, and it's just it's short course yards is just like you can just pop some wicked times there. I honestly like it the way it is, but I think it definitely would get some backlash.
You can't pop a world record though.
Sorry, what?
You can't pop a world record.
That's very true. That's very true.
What does that mean? I mean, I didn't see it swim NCs. I mean, you guys are so psyched to get an NCAA record. Absolutely, sure enough. But world records is a bit more meaningful. I don't know.
Oh, absolutely it is, I think. I mean, an NCAA record is, I mean, that is legit because most of the best swimmers of the world have swam in the NCAA.
But conversely, the short course meter world records, you always look at it and go, yeah, but X didn't swim short course meters. Like, where was so-and-so? Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah, one thing we've talked about is just, which long course or international swimmers we'd love to see in yards. Are there any that stand out for you that were like, man, I'd love to see this person in a yards pool and see what they could go?
Oh boy. Well, I mean, he's not international, but I mean, Phelps would have just been so much fun to watch.
Yeah, that's true.
So cool. But I had to think about that actually. How about you guys?
I mean, we said the clue. I mean, Chad.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
Madu, Leclos, Sostrom.
Then we talked about Romo.
Aussies. I mean, some of the Aussies. Could you imagine Kyle Chalmers at his best?
Chalmers, oh my gosh.
What would he have done in that? In what would he put down?
Yeah, true.
I feel like a 200 free yards. I feel like Chalmers in a 200 free yards would tear it up.
Duncan Scott in a 200 free yards. He would be.
Yeah.
I don't know how he is around the walls, but yeah.
He'd be good in college though. Very versatile, right? You wouldn't know what events he'd be in. Daniel,
who's the toughest swimmer that you race often? Like give us some names that we don't know.
That
You're obsessed with these unknown people. You act like you don't know who anyone is, man.
I want to learn.
You're on a swimming podcast. You should know someone.
Oh man. Well, you guys probably know his name, but Austin Katz has always been. We've always been racing the same events, and he's been just killing it too. He's up there. Coleman Stewart's up there. John Chevitt's up there. I'm trying to think who you don't know, but Zach Pody actually from ASU.
I don't know Zach Pody.
Don't know.
Yeah, he at Pac-12's absolutely shattered Murph's Pac-12 in the 100 back, and he went like a 44 like 1 or 0 in prelims. And I was just like, oh my, he's one of those guys who just swims under, like his underwaters are just unbeatable. Like there's just no way. And he came out of high school. He was like a 4,800 backstroker. He was about the same as I was, and then just started to kill it underwater and just took off. So he's been up there.
Daniel, we honestly criticize your underwater for sure, but we did also say that you don't have to be the best underwater swimmer to be the best backstroker. I criticized. What do you think about that? I mean, honestly, you're working on your underwaters, and everybody believes that. But do you also, I mean, you know how good you are on top of the water. How you came home in that re-swim, that last 25, how you just accelerated your tempo and got on top of that water. I would love to have known your 25 splits in that 44 point you went in that re-swim, because you came home like a bullet. And I can tell you fly, and you probably a fantastic long course swimmer, and it showed in Pan Ams. I mean, what do you think about the whole underwater, above water, get up there and just go if you can go?
Yeah, so it's kind of exactly what you said. My strength is on top of the water, and it always has been. I'm never a fan of people being overly confident and cocky, but I honestly believe that I'm one of the best swimmers on top of the water. Like Murph and I, we just go head to head in these power workouts. We push off no underwaters, and I'm beating him. My goal is just to be really good at underwaters as well, because if I can get that, then I'm going to be right up there with people like Murph and Grievers and Evgeny and all those people. But for right now, the reason why I popped up so early at that race swim is just because I would have been slower. Yeah.
Why are you so good at sorry, what do you focus on above the water, on top of the water? What do you focus on? Why are you so good? You say you did a lot of pulling in high school. Is it your headline? Is it your power? Is it your catch? What makes you so good?
Yeah, so I was really fortunate to have this Joe Novak. He's my first coach. He was all about technique first, then we can get faster. So that really helped out. And he had a famous quote that he always said, there's the three most important things in backstroke: tempo, tempo, tempo. And so that is all I focus on in backstroke, is just tempo. Yeah.
What kind of tempo? Because you're not talking extreme fast turnover. You're talking about a good rhythm, right? Depends on where you're at. Dive into that some more. What do you mean by tempo, really?
Yeah. So with the 50 back, it's just go.
Just go.
I don't really have a tempo that I try to hit. But with the 100, it's 100 long course. It's about 1-2 per cycle, and then the 200 is about 1-4, 1-5.
Okay.
And we do a lot of tempo training work too. So we just have that dialed in once racing comes. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say 1-4 sounded right for 2 back. Yeah, I think, dialing that in it seems like an important way to transition from during the season to, kind of that racing rhythm. And, only so many things that you can control when you're kind of in the period of the season where, you're not feeling all that great. Do you feel like there are some things you talked about, the trajectory of the season and kind of the arc around, hey, you're just continuing to get better throughout the year? Are there some things that, Dave starts to bring in, or you guys start to bring into that season of training that you feel like, start to sharpen, that stand out to you that you're not doing in the fall, but you're definitely doing in January, February? What are some of those things?
Yeah. So Tuesdays and Thursdays in the fall, Tuesdays are our test sets. So that's, for example, that's like 8 150s all out on 6 minutes.
Ugh.
And then Thursdays, we kind of do like pace sets in the fall. So I guess that kind of works our aerobic, kind of fills our aerobic capacity a little bit. And then towards in the spring, we suit up every Tuesday, Thursday, and we do race sets. So that could look anything like doing a 800 free relay or 400 medley relay, or we set up a 15-meter course or 15-yard course and just do like sprints and really nail our turns and actually feel what it feels like to be going that fast. Because obviously a 15-yard wall comes up like that. So the stuff that we do on Tuesday, Thursdays in the spring is where we really dial things in. Yeah.
How do you feel like that changes for long course?
So it's honestly pretty similar. Tuesday, Thursdays, we suit up and we do like 100 fast or like descend 350s to pace and then hold it for 100. Just really, really small sets, but really, really quality. Yeah.
You're talking about your test sets, and I remember a Jacob podcast with Mel and one of Caleb's race analysis, and both of them were talking about some of the work that they put in practice made them so supremely confident when they went to race. I think Jacob would do 50s dive all out, and when he can hold between 22.8 to 23.5 with, I think, 8 50s in 5 minutes, he knew that he could walk on deck at nationals and then have to warm up and just dive at 22.8 and make finals when he's cool. Like, he just had that confidence. And Caleb the same way. Caleb was like, doing those 350 skins on 3 minutes, that's fine. I mean, I do with Greg, we do like 8 of them on 2 or some like craziness. Those test sets, are they giving you that confidence eventually? I mean, do you get up on the block and like, you know what, I've just done that work and I've been there, I put so much pain in, this race is not going to hurt me as much as what I just did a month ago. Talk to me about that whole mindset of those test sets and what they do for your psychology and your confidence.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Brian, you know this just as well as I do. Dave really enforces that mindset heading into those test sets. Like this is gonna be what it feels like at the end of a 200 back. Like when you hit those 5 and 6 efforts, and like once you get to a meet, you're like, well, I've done 650s and I'm holding 200 pace. I can do one single 200. So that definitely just gives me so much confidence. Yeah, for sure.
And you're racing next to an Olympic gold medalist every single day in practice. Brian, you race next to Caesar and Fred. I mean, John and I are jealous that the environments you guys get to be in, it makes you great or gets you, like, don't be there. And that's fantastic environment.
Or don't be there. Simple as that.
It's like when you guys race me every day now. I mean, you know,
don't get built be there.
No, it's nothing like every day when we race you now.
Exactly. Not at all.
Now we know that we need to get you on a kickboard, Luke. See, that's what you've been missing out on. You just got to get great at kicking. You got to get great at swimming on top of the water.
I want to see what Luke can go in a underwater 25.
No, and underwaters were invented after I finished swimming.
20 seconds?
You were born, okay? That's when underwater was invented. Back in my day, Dennis Pankratov, foot underwater kicking, you did a skull in front. That's.
I don't know if Daniel knows that story.
I don't know that story.
Dennis Pankratov, 200-meter butterfly Olympic champion in '96. He invented underwater butterfly sculling in front. He thought that's what you do.
That was the streamline.
Wow.
At a race.
Yep. Yeah, it's true. I remember the first time
he was also one of those guys. He's also one of those guys who wore his cap like way down here.
He did. But he was,
yeah.
He was the best. He didn't argue with Pankratov. But I also swam with a guy called Paul Watson. He came third at trials in the US, and he swam at Harvard with David Burkhoff. And Burkhoff obviously invented the Burkhoff blast-off. And Paul Watson I had just come from Trinidad, showed up in Colo, Canada, and there I'm swimming freestyle on top, and Watson is swimming underwater the whole time. He's just going up and down underwater underneath me. And I'm like, what is this guy doing? Why are you underneath? And that was the early 90s. And that's how the sports evolved, man. I mean, we just spent no time underwater. None.
That's crazy.
Obviously created the Burkhoff blast off. Obviously.
You guys know the Burkhoff blast off. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I do.
Okay, good.
But I hopefully everyone else does. Yeah. All right. Rapid fire, Brian.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. If I can have some good internet connection during this section, we'll see. All right, Daniel, what's the hardest? What's the hardest race in swimming?
200 back long course.
Olympic gold medal or world record?
Gold medal.
Are nose clips cheating?
No.
If your friends come to town, what's the #1 place you're taking them in Berkeley?
Grizzly Peak. It's an awesome lookout spot.
Killer bike riding.
Shea Pan Ams, no?
Killer place to ride. Luke, let's go ride bikes up there. Assuming it comes out of the water during the race, do you think that the wedge is a good addition for the evolution of backstroke?
I do, actually.
That's a very serious answer.
Yeah.
Tom Shields says that he is the fastest in the world from a push to 15 meters underwater. Do you think he's right?
No.
Who do you think is?
I have seen Murph do some pretty disgusting things underwater. So I would love to see those two go head to head.
I think we need to be there, Brian and John. We need to be there and watch this. We watch Shields, Murphy, and Carr go head to head.
Oh God, I don't even want to be in the water.
I know you can be above water. We're good.
Yeah.
I'll put focus on.
They train together and they still don't know. That's great.
Yeah.
Luke tipped my hand, so I'm not going to ask you what you'd call a franchise. But if you could add or change something about the ISL to make it better, what would you do?
200 back skins.
Yeah. I was just going to say they should do like stroke skins, but they're adding that, aren't they?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah.
Just I am, yeah.
Yeah.
Skins, imagine the pain we will witness. It will be such drama. It will be on TMZ. It had to be. It's like Shaka Fool. It's going to be.
I'm even worried about the 100 IM skins. I feel like someone's going to be so dominant, they're going to win by like a 25, and it's not going to be as exciting.
Yeah.
Because someone is going to eat it. I mean, multiple people are going to eat it, but I mean, really bad.
You guys know how I feel. You guys know how I feel.
Yeah.
We need to gamify it a different way. You need to tack on extra points for every second that you beat your competition or something like that. That's where it needs
Well,
to
they kind of have that now with I forget what they're calling, rally points or victory points or something. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes, but it just makes it a little harder to track. They need to have it very clear on the screen.
I want it like golf when you're playing with your buddies, and like if you hit it off of a tree and it goes in, you get a point, or if it gets on the green. Like I want not just seconds, rally points. I want like if you get out of the water completely before your competition touches the wall. It's like,
if you do a 50 free and touch the bottom of the pool and still win, you get points. If you do,
for every meter you swim more past them, you get like a point.
Yeah, like you're talking about Durden's calling out sets, and you guys are like getting all fired up. That's what I want at the ISL. You like get out of the water in front of your competition, and you're like, yes, and your whole team.
if you touch both lane lines in backstroke 5 times during your race. I think we can make a good game out of this.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go. All right, so Daniel, what time will it take to make it to Tokyo with an individual swim in the 100 backstroke?
I think I think under 52.5 is going to be right there. Yep.
Okay. All right. I like it. Thanks for hanging out with us, man. It's been fun to get to know you.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you guys so much. This has been awesome. I wish we could do this more often.
No, absolutely.
Don't say that.
Well,
Luke will be on your Instagram every day.
No, I